everybody, I am Thatnursingprof and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 study mistakes you might be making and what you can do to fix them. So the first one we're going to talk about is not taking breaks or doing marathon studying, okay? This is where they go and they sit in the library and then you see them there 8 hours later, they haven't moved. That's not good. That's not actually very good study technique. Our brains need time to rest so we can process and remember information. So you don't want to spend extended periods of time studying. The best way to fix this is to study a little bit every day and actually make a study calendar. So decide, every day, Monday through Sunday from 2 to 3, which is 1 hour, right? 2 to 3 in the afternoon, I'm going to focus on this one class. You also want to break during that time. So you're going to study for like 30 minutes, take a 5 to 10 minute break to go to the bathroom, eat something, rest your brain, pay attention to something else that's not school for a little bit, and then jump back into it for another 30-minute session. That's going to help you process and remember information better than these long, drawn-out study marathons. That's not healthy for your brain, and you're just not going to remember it all that way. The second mistake you might be making is memorizing and not understanding the material. There are classes where you need to memorize lots of facts. Like if you're in history, obviously you need to know dates and times and things like that. But in nursing school, we're more about like application and analysis type things. So understanding terms is important because probably terms were going to be used in the questions and the possible answers. Yes, vocab is always important, but memorizing things is not going to work in nursing school. You need to understand why things are the way they are. You need to understand the disease process, not just, okay, these are the signs and symptoms. If you understand the pathophysiology, the way the disease is affecting the body, then the signs and symptoms are going to come natural. They're going to make sense because you're going to think, okay, if it affects the respiratory system, they're going to have respiratory signs and symptoms, things like that. So understanding the material is far more valuable to you than just memorizing a bunch of stuff. So how can you work on understanding the material? You can do something like make a concept map. You can teach it to somebody else. Or if you can't do that, just read it out loud to yourself and think, okay, did what I said make sense to me? Can I explain this in a different way? Number 3, you're distracted. You got too many things, too much stimulation. So you got your phone and it's buzzing, all your social medias, all your notifications are going off. You got Netflix on in the background. You're listening to loud music. Too many distractions is not good if you really want to study. So how to fix that? Turn it off, put it away. And if you can't, if you are in a situation where you're like, well, I can't turn off my phone, what if an emergency happens? That's fine, I get that. What I would recommend is put it somewhere else in the room. So if you're sitting at a desk, don't have the phone right in front of you on your desk where you can just pick it up and check it out. Put it in an inconvenient area, still in the same room so you can hear it if you have to, but put it out of sight. If you're the type of person that needs music on in the background when you study, I would recommend music that doesn't have lyrics because lyrics can be very distracting. A lot of people actually prefer to study with classical music, and there's lots of playlists here on YouTube. Just Google, study music, and they'll come up, and a lot of people say they help. The fourth mistake is kind of a twofer. So it's either you're only reading or you're not reading at all. So let's take this apart. The first one, you're only doing the reading, that's your only way of studying. That's not good. That is very passive studying. And while you read something, you might remember some things in the book, you're not going to remember everything if you don't take a more active role in your studying. So how to fix that? You're still going to do the reading. I am not saying don't read. You're still going to do the reading, but you're going to actively participate in it. So you can read out loud, make flashcards, draw concept maps, draw pictures, take notes. You can write a little summary of each little section that you just read in your own words, making sure you understood it. So don't just passively look at it and go, okay, I'm going to know this because I read it. You're not going to remember it. You have to trick your brain into remembering what you read, especially if you don't find what you're reading very interesting. And then the second half of that is you're not reading at all. So there are some students who do that. They'll come to me like week 10 and they're not doing well in the class, and I'll say, okay, let's see, open your book. And then they, and it's the first time it's been opened, or it's still in the plastic wrap. Or they go, oh, I never actually bought the book. I didn't know that we needed it. So that might fly in other majors. That doesn't work in nursing school. You do need the book. You do need to read the book. So not reading at all is not going to be very helpful. Some teachers, they only give you like little bits of information in the class because it's accompanying what you're supposed to read. So very important that you do the reading and you keep up with the reading. I recommend, just like you create a study schedule, to create a reading schedule, because there is going to be a lot that you're going to have to read. You might have to read 5 chapters for a week, and those 5 chapters might be 200 pages total, right? So you want to break up the page numbers by days and say, okay, this day I can read, 60 pages, and this day I'll read another 80 pages. That way you can get the reading done. And also be a smart reader when you read. A lot of times we read word for word because we like phonetically sound out everything because that's how we were taught to read as children. And that's not a bad thing, it just slows you down. So learn how to be a skimmer. Read efficiently, know the most important stuff. Don't slowly read every single thing because then it's going to take you forever and you're going to hate reading. And I don't want you to hate reading, I want you to like reading and understand it's very, very important. And the 5th mistake you're probably making is multitasking. So trying to study for multiple things at the same time. Our brains don't like that. I know there are people who are like, I am so good at multitasking. No, you're not. Nobody's good at multitasking. Our brains weren't made that way. So the best thing to do is to create that study schedule and say, okay, from 2 to 3, I'm going to study my med-surg class. And from 3 to 4, I'm going to study my pediatrics class or whatever. Because you're probably going to be taking multiple classes at the same time, right? And you need to study for all of your classes. Don't be the kind of person that goes, well, this is my hardest class, so I'm only going to study for this one and I'm not really going to put a lot of effort into the other ones. You want to study equally for every class and you want to break that up. So the best way to do that is to create a study schedule. So that was my video. I hope you found this helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And if not, I'll see you on the next one.